like bringing developers, but also like to be able to tell them where they should be focusing on, like what are the jobs they can do, uh, and also create a bridge with other farms that are looking for developers, and like we should be making that bridge by either filling those gaps or like finding people that are suitable and can cover that position basically. um I don't think that like uh as being a group we need like some strict rules. Like we can have some basic membership where like we just know that everyone like knows, has some background in programming, and can tell uh, the requirements for projects, can tell if someone knows how to code or is just bullshitting, like stuff like that. That's and he's also able to review and rate others' projects, uh, which may be required, like if we want to validate people and projects in certain events. Um, that's the core idea. Then I think we should discuss like what other things you guys would like to have from like this collective of developers, what projects and events would be cool to have, and that sort of stuff.
Fuck me.
Carl,
Sorry,
Carl, do you
David.
want, Carl, do you want to raise your voice? Maybe you would be interested. Carl, bracket effect. Are you there?
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
I thought you said Carl.
Sorry.
My bad. Yeah, no, I think I've kind of been on the sidelines for most of the time I've been hanging out here. I pop into calls whenever I can, and like I give my opinions whenever I can. I am a developer, so this is more up my alley, but I'm fairly busy in my day job, more or less, and stuff like that. But like I'd like to be more involved, and that's something that really attracted me to this project is that it is a DAO first, and it is organizing community for the common good. Whereas like we were talking a little bit before the call, how Uniswap is like a centralized entity, and they're potentially, the rumor is they're coming to XDAI. And they're slowly trying to become more decentralized. We like One Hive worked the other way; they were a community first, decentralized, and they're trying to build, the Uniswap of XDAI. So I'm very attracted to this kind of methodology, and I'd love to help out wherever I can. Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure like how much time I can commit to
So
it, but yeah.
like since you are like a developer that is currently with a like normal job,
Hmm?
what would you be looking for uh like out of One Hive to make it more appealing to participate?
Yeah, I mean, I think you like in general. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say we, but like I'm going to say we because like I want to be a part of the community. So I think we are doing a great job already. I was like really blown away by Honeyswap, and like the promise of the little man to be able to get involved and start trading, where like Uniswap is just like so prohibitive for so many people. So I really see this as like a grassroots group, and so as much as we can, make crypto more accessible for the people that it will actually have a strong impact on their lives, I'm all for that. And that's why I'm here basically. So I think Agave is a great initiative. I like what I heard about Celeste. In terms of what else we could focus on, like, I mean, having the entire kind of DeFi stack on XDAI makes the most sense to me. It's super helpful that we have DAI as the native coin. So, like, I mean, we're kind of leveraging Maker already without having to make our own Maker. Lending and borrowing, I think, is probably the next logical step, and teams are already working on that. And from there, like so many more things open up. I know there is what's the thing called for prediction markets. I saw something about that is on XDAI now. We have Bow Finance. Like these products are like great if we want to like focus on making, I mean, competitors to those. Although I'm not sure that is in our best interest, but like, yeah, I think it's building up all around us, and we're just bringing the community focus, which is super important.
What was the prediction market project that there is?
Yeah, I can't remember the name. I think let me do some searching here. And
you are talking about reality cards, maybe.
Because we were gonna make a binary options prediction market type thing as well on top of Celeste once that's released, right?
Yeah, we can. It's like a subjective prediction market, so like we can include a bit of everything.
Helena market, Helena network.
Just drop the link.
I don't know that one.
So, what are we doing right now? Are we planning out projects or like?
Yeah, I was just spitballing. Yeah, I was just throwing
that's
out.
That's not really the idea. Like this is going to be like a group of developers, and like we want to be like organized in a group, just to be able to create some specific applications, like to organize multiple swarms, and sometimes that needs like just like there's no like meta swarm that can do like these bridges, and I think there should be a swarm to do that. And then it's about organizing developers in respect to like organizing these events like hackathons and stuff like that. And also it helps like if you have this group of developers that is able to like organized with autonomy, like, and be together and be able to allocate like their skills better within the OneIve ecosystem. I think that's helpful.
Yeah. I was going to jump into David. Maybe he can lay out his thoughts. We can go to each one of.
Sure.
Yeah. Then we can go back to Sandpaper. David, do you want to lay out like your thoughts into Dev Swarm? Like, do you want to give your idea about it?
About what?
About the Dev Swarm, like Luigi trying to kick out startup Dev Swarm, and he want to hear your thoughts, like how you want to lay it out.
I mean, I don't know anything about it, but I think
it's about Dev.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I know it's about them, but I don't know what is the Dev Swarm is like.
We don't know.
I don't know how it's organized.
Yeah,
That's what we are establishing, basically.
Oh, okay. So you want to establish a swarm like just like these other swarms and
exactly.
more actively, right? You mean to say that?
Yeah,
It's like it's to be the same, like in the sense that you have like a leadership or something like that. It's more like a group of developers, and they know like what needs to be done, and there's some rules that are like for one knife and to serve other swarms in a sense. Like let's say you, me, and other developers, we know also lots of developers. Well,
Yeah.
so like we have the best chance to bring new developers and link developers to swarms that don't have them, like by definition. So
Mm,
it should create like this tighter group uh,
enough.
that
That
can that can fill that gap.
that would be that would be awesome. But uh, what if we can create something like this dev group and like train these new people and then we also like even I'm pretty new in Solidity and all these things, but what if we bring this kind of some kind of courses or maybe we help each other like and do something and create this strong team in like we
That's
can't
not a bad idea. Have like
yeah
That's
on top of it, like we could organize events that are around learning courses.
yeah
Yeah,
that would
that's
I
not
would
a
say
bad idea.
the course stuff sounds like something we can do under Morphosis. We just need to figure out what
Yeah,
things we want to have taught and who can teach them. I've been trying to get a hold of a few different people who are
yeah,
uh,
but some
teaching like
events
Web3.
like with featured developers,
Mhm.
like those speakings and stuff like that.
Um, so I guess I'm curious how this so we have because we have individual swarms for individual projects, right? And then
Correct.
we have Pollen that covers like maintenance and sort of like miscellaneous dev work. So I guess maybe the primary purpose of this swarm would be to like just get people into projects and like plan out projects and organize them and make sure everyone has the appropriate skills, I guess, and just kind of do a lot of that coordinating effort. Is that correct? Or
Yeah, it's I think it's about organization and also identification. Like in a sense, like if you are a part of the swarm, um, like people know you are a developer and can reach you out to like for certain stuff.
Mhm.
how about if we needed any dev work, we can ask the dev swarm to help us, and we can hire people out. And for example, I think Luigi did the marketing bot, and we needed some kind of dev work. And that time we had kind of struggle to get anyone. And thankfully Luigi took his time and helped us to create the bot. Maybe we can create a group that's highly dev work, and we can use it to another swarm if we need it. Maybe.
I think it's probably also necessary to have like product manager types in this group because I think that's something that's sort of prevented us from doing some of these projects, at least until recently. Recently, work has really taken off, but like the seeds have sort of taken the role as both lead dev and like kind of product management style roles in
Yeah,
the
but
past, and we don't have
something
those.
I was discussing yesterday with Boring is that uh, that could even be outside the role of the developers. Like, let's say you have a good idea, or you think it's a good idea, and you make a proposal, and you just like delegate to the dev swarm to figure out who is going to make it, who is going to develop it. You set a proposal with the budget, and then we take care of filling that requirement basically. We pub
Yes.
we publish the bounty, and then we will fetch developers to cover and fill the gap.
Yeah, that seems like a reasonable flow. One thing to add would be, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with how Polkadot runs this type of thing, but they have like on-chain governance with like proposals. And then once that proposal gets approved by like community vote, then a what's called a curator is assigned to a particular proposal, and they put up some sort of stake, and they're like the stakeholder of this proposal, so they have the responsibility of either fulfilling the proposal themselves or organizing a team that they choose to get the job done. And then there's certain check-in points, and like there could be milestones as well. And if they hit those milestones and they report on the reporting dates, then their stake doesn't get slashed. But if they fuck off and they miss the reporting, they get slashed. If they don't complete the job, they get slashed. So it has some sort of accountability baked into it. And there's also the concept of a technical committee, where they like it is like, obviously, as the name suggests, technically minded people that can kind of have a better insight versus a non-technical person on the viability of a particular proposal, or also provide some sort of insight and direction on a proposal, but they're not necessarily responsible directly for implementing it, unless aside from being on the committee, they choose to do so. So it kind of separates these different tasks. So if the dev swarm was more like the technical committee, where they can give direction and insight, so on and so forth, and even like fast track certain proposals, or their vote is weighted more strongly on proposals, that being technical people, and then being able to choose the curator for a particular proposal and kind of help in that way.
Anyone want to comment on this? David, Harmandu, what, I don't know how to say name. Luigi, Sandpaper, please.
I'll have to look more into that Polkadot stuff. That sounds interesting, though. It sounds like there's some good that we can take and bring to One Hive. I don't know if we want to implement exactly the same thing, but I think staking might make sense once like teams are assigned to a project. But I don't know. It might also not be necessary. I wrote some stuff up in the cafe channel on my thoughts on.
I created a Google document. I can just share it. Maybe anyone can just post his thoughts, so we can share it later on with the form.
Yeah, I think that's a flow that we need to figure out once Blast is out. Like in terms of the proposals and how the funding is received. Because right now you either get the funding like way before you have anything done, and that's bad because you have like the risk of flight, and then you have the other scenario where you make a proposal and you only get funding like super late or after the fact. And that's where swarms have come in, like recently. Like you just hope the swarm will pay or something like that, and it's more flexible. But yeah, I think that could be improved some way by using Celeste. Like you could, I think people talked about the escrow contract, where like the payout would drip slowly. So, and if like once you complete it, we could like stop the drip and you get the full payment.
Yeah, have you seen Sablier on mainnet? Have you heard
Sablier?
of it? Yeah, have you heard of this project? So the premise behind it is like you can set up payment streams. So similarly to what you're kind of describing,
Okay.
it can be used for like payroll. If you're running your company or whatever, you can set up certain payment buckets, and the employer theoretically would deposit the funds in a particular contract, and it gets dripped out over time. And so you can set up certain conditions for these drips to happen. So that something along that line could be definitely useful here. But yeah, like the problem, like you were kind of outlining there, where the incentivization, like do you give money up front, and then they don't do the job, or you don't give them any money, and then why would they complete the job, kind of thing? They have to that they'll get paid later. That is a tough problem, and I think that having some sort of skin in the game, from the perspective of the project owner, helps in that issue, because it ensures two kinds of things: that they're committed to the project to begin with, and they're serious, right? And so like having them put up a stake is really that skin in the game. And we could also leverage an escrow contract where we can be like, it could be the Sablier type thing. So as milestones are reached, certain portions of the funding is unlocked. And if it comes down to, well, we need some funds in order to hire devs or do marketing or whatever, that can be like a sub proposal underneath the general proposal of like, we need to get this project done, but in order to get this project done, we need to hire somebody, right? And so if I'm the curator of this project, I'll be getting paid X honey for completing the entire thing, but in order to do that job, I need Y honey to pay people under me, kind of thing. And that can be a sub proposal. So it is definitely a more complicated system, but I think these layers of yeah, for lack of a better word, complication, simplify things.
Sure.
Is it necessary to have a hierarchy in this way you're mentioning with like sub proposals? Wouldn't that all just be under a single proposal? Or
yeah. Well, what I mean by sub proposal
hiring, maybe.
What I mean by sub proposal is simply that, like, a conditional part of a overall proposal. So, like, say, for example, like the entire thing is to make HoneySwap, like as if it's not already made. But in order to make HoneySwap, I need to hire a smart contract developer, and they're going to create the first issue of, like, I don't even know, of like the first pool or something like that, the contract that is going to be the main pool, getting that done. And then we need to hire a developer to make the front end. So these would be sub proposals underneath the grand proposal. So the curator's job is to organize people to get those pieces done, but they might need funding in order to hire those people if they're not doing it themselves. So it's a way to like bundle a project up, but also segment it up into milestones or bite-sized chunks, kind of thing. That makes sense?
Yeah, I think that's like meeting milestones. I think that's the way to go.
Perfect. Bracket, can you please write your thoughts in the Google document or some kind of summary? So maybe we can review it or community can see it later on. Because I think what you said is kind of intelligent in some way, and I think people should read it.
Sure. You linked the Google Doc in Cafe, right? The Dev Swarm thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Thanks, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
We did not hear from her. I'm not sure how to say your name, but the guy yeah, go ahead. Maybe you can just give a short name so it will be easy for me to read. Yeah,
You
go
mean
ahead.
me?
Yeah, it's you.
Ah, okay. Well, as you may know, I'm relative new member to the community. I like the idea of having the curator, which whom you can contact a new member. Like, okay, I'm a developer. I know this stuff, this file. I want to participate, and the curator has the job to uh, like review through your profile and see. Oh, okay, I see that. I don't know. You have experience on smart contract. You have experience on backend development, or you have experience on front-end development. That person organizes and forms like the work groups. Yeah, pretty much what you already said. But yeah, it's the idea.
Okay, are you guys on the doc? Like, can you guys read any comments? And maybe identify other use cases for dev swarm, or maybe improve like the wording or something like that. Like expand on an idea. The docs that Boring shared, by the way, on the dev
Yeah.
channel.
Spot 81. Do you have anything to say? I think you might be interested in this. Or we just watching? Spot 81. Okay. You have no comment. I think I think we got people opinion in this. I mean, we still have fried. Maybe you can comment. I'm not sure if you're interested in this or not. Okay.
Uh,
I think the guy also is AFK. Iskandar, do you want to say anything? I think also Iskandar AFK.
No, I'm not. Sorry, I
Yeah,
was muted.
yeah.
I was talking actually.
No,
I think it's a great idea to organize all the devs in the community. So yeah, you guys have my vote if you're going to like a proposal for that.
cool. Yeah, I will leave it to Sandpaper and Luigi. I think they can take care of theirs.
Very nice.
like, okay, about this topic, like, how to join the devs forum? Like, we need to have like a way to identify, uh, like vouch for the people that are applying. And like, what you guys think should be the process? Like to identify, like, okay, what are the skills of this person, and are they actual developers, or are they not ready yet for?
Well, I think we should have core team, which is are they always be there if they are needed, and we can just give them a bit of honey so they can be helping the community if needed. And then we have another part where we can rescue outside dev that we can pay them later on to do or to help any necessary task that we need. We are for sure need dev that are to be here in one hive, or like they have the time to help if needed, and we can have another part of the dev that are not always be here. They are a bit busy, but they are still interested in helping if they are needed. I hope that makes sense. Like we should have two separate parts of the dev. Like one of the focus of the dev, like one of the working of the dev, they should have the time. Like once you talk with them, they can help you if they are needed. And if they some kind of task that need higher or different skills in the development, we can tag these outside deliverable.
Yes,
So
but like that doesn't really matter in this case. Like, you can join the dev swarm and not have the time to do anything right now. But like, if you have the skills, like, and you want to join it, that's fine. And for us, that's good because even if you maybe don't have the time to do it, you might know other developers and know their skills. and be able to recruit those people. So it's never a bad thing to let people join the swarm in a sense.
Yeah.
There's no negative effect.
Yeah, true. The problem is that I'm afraid if we onboard a lot of dev inside the dev swarm, they might feel a bit bored about it. So we need to give them some kind of tax so they can
Feel
still
what? Sorry?
they feel a bit bored. Like they feel
Bored.
yeah, they are really not getting any kind of things that they can do because
I think
yeah.
you don't know developers.
No, yeah, maybe
Laziness
yeah,
is what describes every developer.
yeah. I can tell that for sandpaper for sure. But yeah,
Sorry, what's that?
I mean, Luigi said like Deliver have kind of theme, be a bit lazy, and I told him Sandpaper is actually is one of them for sure.
Oh, um, um, I was I was just trying to like the procedure itself. Like I was trying to narrow down the procedure. Like, should you like need to have a meeting? Should you need to have like a certain portfolio, and we just like rate you or review based on the portfolio that you have? What do you guys think is a good idea? Uh, curly brackets, boring, David, etc.
I honestly should start short. We don't need to include like everyone. We can just start short, and once we have more clear idea
But
about
I,
like go
Like, I
ahead.
don't want this to have even a core team. Like, that's useless. Like, I just want to, if we need to do something, we get the funding quickly in 1 or 2 days, and we allocate to this form, and then we distribute to the team that is going to do it. Like, if we want to organize an event and we need developers to be on the board or organizing that, we pass the proposal and allocate to those people. I think it's pointless to have like this super core team when like it just creates attraction and friction over time
Okay.
if like those people don't participate as much or something like that.
Okay.
Um,
Sandpaper was trying to say something.
I want to just bring devs here. That's the point. So I want to be as inclusive as possible. That's the main focus.
yeah, I don't think there should be any like you were talking about looking at people's like work portfolios or something. Is that what you were talking about with portfolio?
I was talking about like, okay, we want to bring as much people as possible, but we also want to include people like that are actually developers. Like it doesn't make sense to, I mean, or at least that have some skill that is like identifiable, like even if it is like, let's say, web design, like it's not necessarily programming, but it's a skill set that we might need when we are developing something. And like,
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think there's really been too many issues about people saying they like have skills that they don't, and like getting on a team, right? I mean,
that's an issue because if you are making a bigger group and you want to like make teams out of like random people or arbitrary people, that can create issues because if you have someone that says is good at something and then they are shit, it will just make a bad experience for the other developers. So you want to have
has that
that
happened though?
curation at the start, at the membership level.
Has that happened in the past though?
As that happened in the past.
Like, I don't want to have unnecessary curation and like interview style stuff and turn this just into like, you know, standard company or something where
I
you
mean,
have like
the
gatekeeping and stuff like
the
that.
alternative to that is to have like a reputation system like you do on those websites like Upwork and DevCrowd, and where it's literally freelancing.
It just seems like we're slipping into bureaucracy and like the kinds of things that we're trying to get away from with DAOs in the first place. You know.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
don't think
go ahead.
necessarily bureaucracy and hierarchy is inherently wrong. I think it's the transparency and like the openness part that is like really important to like focus on, because like
Yes.
certain people with certain skills have certain insights that people without those skills don't have, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean like, you know, one person's better than the other, but in a certain situation, like that might be true. You know what I mean? So as the dev swarm, we would probably have more insight in dev related things. And so we can leverage those skills. So like it's not necessarily like a bureaucratic thing, but as much as it is a security thing, because you wouldn't want, you know, like a farmer making decisions on development. That just doesn't make sense, right? So
I just
I think that
is trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist. Like we haven't had issues with people coming in and being like, "I'm a front end developer" or "I'm a back end developer," whatever, and then they just don't have those skills at all. You know, that's not like I feel like that's like a very like we should cross that bridge when we come to it, or like maybe we think about like individual cases if they happen, but it's not like that's happening on a large scale at all. Maybe it's happened once or twice, possibly. I'm not even sure.
yeah, no,
So
I definitely get what you're saying on that point.
and I just don't want to like be excluding
Uh,
people from these
it's
projects because
not
we have
about
this like bureaucratic curation system. You know,
it's not about blocking people or being bureaucratic. It's simply like being able to like identify the skills that that person has, and to do that, like you need to at least show that you did something before. Like you can't just say, okay, I am a programmer, but I have never coded in my life. Like it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I mean,
It's really basic. Like you just provide a
and
simple proof of what you are good at, and we
and
move
again,
on.
like it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to like gatekeep. If we have a staking system, then that like removes that, you know, that friction point for us, because if someone thinks their skills are good enough to complete a particular job and they're willing to put up a stake, like a reasonable amount of stake for it, then what do we care if they have a resume or not, right? Like, you know, it's that typical problem. Like, the job is only hiring those with experience, but how do you get experience if you haven't had a job before? It's like the chicken or the egg problem. We want to give people chances, and if they want to put their honey, so to speak, where their mouth is, then so be it. They can put up a stake, and if they don't hit the milestone, then we make a quick executive decision at that point as the dev swarm to say, you didn't hit this milestone at this point like you said you would, you're going to get slashed. And then if you miss the next milestone, now your stake is gone and we're going to hire a new curator or something like that.
Anyone want to comment? Is welcome.
Hey guys, I'm just joining for a little bit. I caught the tail end of that.
Hey, Luke.
I will say if we can figure out how to do like onboarding and vouching for people for skills, or give them chances without them having to stake, that's probably preferable. I think like it's not a very welcoming, inclusive kind of experience to be like, yeah, you can do this work, but you have to like put up a deposit first.
I agree on
Like
that.
it definitely game theoretically makes sense. Like, and I see the intention there, but I also think that like if we can deal with it in a more like social manner, it's probably going to feel better for people than if they're like, I've got to put up a collateral deposit because these people don't trust me. You know?
I agree with that.
I mean, I know that this was something I had problems with Raid Guild, was with their staking system and the difficulty of joining their group.
Yeah,
And that created a lot
it's
of
that.
friction. And it sounds like this
I
is very similar to that, and I just don't really think that's the path we should go down.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's not about only the friction. It's also that we really want to onboard as many people as possible. And like once people see that they have to like go buy on it to earn money, it's it's just a bit counterintuitive in a sense.
One thing that I think could be interesting, and we could even just do this with like Discord roles for different sort of like skills, is if you do a project, or you can like point to like an open source project that you've done that like kind of starts you with that skill, and other people can kind of manage those roles for like accountability purposes. I don't think like, and I think I heard Sandpiper say this. I don't think we've ever really had an issue with people coming in saying they have skills that they don't have. Um, but if there's just sort of light moderation in terms of that, so that if you are trying to form a swarm, or you're trying to work on a project, or you've got like a thing that needs to be done, and you don't know who's going to do it, but you're like looking for some help, you might be able to like ping people in a channel that
Yeah.
have a specific role and say, hey, can anybody help me with this thing? And that way, people that come into the community and have the skills and they want to get involved, they're like, they have a place where they're like, oh, let me like advertise that I'm here to help and I've got these skills. Because otherwise, there's like this missing piece where you're like, I don't know who I should ask. I don't know who's interested. I don't want to bug people who are probably super busy. But if you have this sort of like um, system, I guess, for people to kind of self-select into different roles, and kind of indicate that they're like interested or available, and other people that are like kind of forming swarms and stuff like that uh, can find them. Like I don't know, I don't know what the right term for that is, but I think that level of curation is probably helpful.
Yeah.
If we are concerned about people pretending to have skills they don't too, we can also even reduce the incentives there by just making sure that there are projects that like beginner developers can do.
It's it's not that much about about identifying frauds or like abuse. It's really what Luke was talking about. That's the real pinpoint. Like you want to know what developers you have and what you can count. Uh, what you can count for each one of them, and you can also use that uh, as like actual data that is relevant for the type of developers that you want to target and onboard. Like let's say we have a huge package of Solidity developers. So maybe we should do an hackathon and events to recruit more Solidity developers. Like that's something that is relevant. And and I think all that data is also relevant once you join this forum to kind of know your place. Like if we are organizing stuff that is uh, dedicated to web design, maybe we shouldn't have a Solidity developer uh, being the jury of that event. Like that's a lot of stuff that makes sense to know the specific skills of each member, and there should be this soft curation of the skills that they have, like just to make sure and to actually know what they're good
Um,
at.
this reminds me of a call that I got off of last Thursday. It was Zargam and some of the metagame people and some of the identity index people. There are like 30 people on the call, basically trying to solve this problem of um, just sort of categorizing and certifying skills. Uh, so if people are interested in that, I don't know yet if there's like a working group call or like a follow up thing we can ping Zargum or Pet and see. But if this new incubator dev swarm, if that's a topic that they're interested in, I would think it would make a lot of sense to connect with those other people that are thinking about this as well.
Oh, and if we had some sort of decentralized certification system, that would be awesome to integrate with Morphosis as we sort of
you
like
guys
develop
could
that
work
plan.
on that on Morphosis.
Yeah, yeah.
Chris, do you want to give us your thought?
I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
Right now, I mean, like, I would like to, I don't know, hear a bit more. I mean, like, you have talked probably a lot while I was not here. I read like the thing, but yeah, I don't have like strong opinions right now. So maybe like, yeah, just continue and I'll see.
Okay. Yeah, anyone is free to have his comment. If anyone have comment.
I think the role system could be managed like creating a requirement. Okay, you want to be a developer in the community, you first have to send us your portfolio or your GitHub profile or whatever in this channel or maybe in a forum post, and then the curator can look through the projects and see, okay, I see you're good at design, you're good at front-end development, you're good at game development, and that curator gives the specific roles for those. Then I think we could also use GitHub, like on projects we could create issues, and we can tag the issues like good first timers, issue for game developers, issue for Solidity, and then each individual developer could go and check, and everyone could say, okay, I want to do that, I participate in that. You can assign that issue to that person.
you mean in terms like of the development part? Like
Yeah.
if okay.
Anyone want to comment, or we can just wrap this out because we have 5 more minutes.
Just fine.
I don't think a portfolio should be a hard requirement. I do understand though if people are coming in asking for work to do, maybe we want to start them on like a easier thing, like a good first time issue or something. But I just don't really like this model of like
It's
providing a resume and kind of gatekeeping. I just think it's very reminiscent of a lot of the negative things we're trying to get away from with DAOs.
so my idea in regards to that is like you want to join the dev swarm, so you will like enroll for an informal meeting, and then you'll go to cafe or like a voice channel, and you will talk with that person, and you'll like say what you are good at, and then like you'll try to determine what's the level of experience of that person in that specific skill, because it's completely different if you are okay, I know a bit of Solidity, and you are a Solidity there for like 3 years. The gap is huge. But that's why you can't just say, okay, I know Solidity. It just doesn't work like that. That's why
Sure.
So who's gonna see this kind of stuff? Like thinking about like, so we are trying to make it more as a centralized, or maybe I don't understand what we are trying to say here. Like some new people comes and he wanna contribute something, but we ask him to maybe stake, or maybe we are asking him to bring your portfolio. We are trying to
no,
take an interview of him.
it's
I
not
don't know.
necessarily about bringing a
Like,
portfolio, because some people like might want to actually keep anonymity, like and their portfolio might like specifically say who they are.
So this
But
is
like,
less about curating people, it sounds like, and it's more about just leading people into the right
Yep.
projects that fit for them.
that would
Is
be
that correct?
awesome. Like, yeah.
Because I'm fine with
It's
like,
about both.
okay, we have like
once you are a member, yes, it's about leading them to the right projects. But first, you want to know what you're good at, because you can't assign someone to a project if you don't know what you're good at. I can't assign you to a Solidity project, and I can't assign me to a Solidity project.
Okay, but will people literally be turned away just because, I don't know, they don't, like, we don't
They
feel like they're
turned
good enough
away
or something like
because
that?
we asked what are their skills. Like that's a basic requirement.
Well, I have opinion here. I kind of share the idea of Sandpiper that almost everywhere you can find like good first issues for people that then you have like this pool of like issues that all of them have like a variety of complexity levels, and then if we have like a lot of swarms that all of these have like this uh, amount of like issues with different like complexity levels, then we can always find like this like I don't know, like these issues that are like good to newcomers, and then we can just like kind of like I don't know, like find a way for people, but not because they are not like, for example, like too skilled. We can like ignore them or something. I know what you're saying. This is solidity in a specific is something that yeah, it's kind of hard because you don't want someone writing a contract for some critical stuff that is going to be used by a lot of people and potentially can be like hack or something. But in most of the other cases, this won't be like a case that's like happening too often. And I think that if we kind of like just like find a way for the people where they can like start, they will eventually learn more, and then they can take like issues that are harder or something. Yeah, I can. Yeah, this just identify what the skills you have, but if you don't have, if you're not that skilled, then you can just make your way into easier stuff, and then you can kind of escalate or something.
Also,
Yeah,
remember that you
seconding
can.
that like you don't have to turn people away even if they don't have skills. If they're interested
Yeah,
in
yeah,
learning skills, that's something that you want to identify as
Yeah.
well, because maybe you can match them up with somebody who's like down to do some mentorship. Maybe find some like issues that are good for onboarding somebody that is just learning.
Yeah,
yep.
that's what like Sandpiper was mentioning before you arrived. I think that there might be like an interesting link with Morphasis, in the sense that you can like have people that are part of the dev swarm uh, help or evaluate some assignments you do on Morphosis or something like that, and like if you are a complete newbie, then that kind of escalates you to into the dev swarm in a sense.
Yeah, and
So
during this like onboarding interview or whatever, you could also ask them if they are like if you find out that they have a lot of skills either in one area or another. If they're like down to do mentorship or help, like you'd be like, if we had somebody that's trying to learn this skill, would you be down to like work with them to help them? That'd be a good question as well, right?
uh, yeah, yeah, I suppose.
So
I
you,
think that kind of enters like the realm of Morphosis, though. Like it would be of the interest of Morphosis to maybe hire a developer, right? And so they go hand in hand. But I don't think it should be like a responsibility of the dev swarm to find payment for that, or to
Oh
assign
yeah, I mean,
a developer
I don't
for
think it would
that.
be like payment. It would be more like mentorship is a skill, and it's also a like thing that people get joy out of. Like like some people really enjoy like teaching people, other people don't.
Yeah,
I
for
would
sure.
treat it sort of like as identifying a skill, and if they do like have that interest, then you can be like, well, you should maybe talk to the Morphosis guys because they kind of do this like teaching and mentorship. I don't know, but it seems like one
yeah,
of those important sort of things we'd want to identify if we're doing some sort of like interview to help understand where people are at when they come in.
And if people have skills that they are interested in teaching, they can also be paid through Morphosis to do a class on that. So, yeah.
Like, I would like to give an example. When it comes to this, it's basically, for example, take me right now. I want to learn Solidity development. I have some background, like I have experience in C++, and I did like a little bit of JavaScript as well, right? So I would definitely, for example, want a Morphosis or something class to, while I do Solidity for myself, it basically guides me in the right direction to show me what I can do, and also, most importantly, confirms that I have the required knowledge to do then something for a SORM that is about development, right? That
Okay, anyone want to comment? Or we can just finish this
No,
out.
man.
We can just
Yeah.
finish this out. Luigi, do you want to? Yeah, go ahead.
I got one thing to say. Yeah, I think like we've covered a lot of ground in this conversation. It's been great hearing all your ideas. I think we kind of expanded the scope from what I was thinking about coming in to this call, from just like focusing on dev related things to then talking about mentorship and putting on classes, which I think is great. I think these are all things and areas that we need to focus on. I think from just to touch back on what I was saying about the problem between getting people to own particular tasks and proposals and having some skin in the game. I hear you guys on the point of not wanting to gatekeep and become bureaucratic, but then there is the problem that somebody brought up about people wanting to maintain anonymity. So then, how do you like trust trust somebody that doesn't want to put anything at stake, right? At least when you know who the person is, that is a form of stake in your reputation, right? We can then not trust that person moving forward. So in the absence of that, I think there's a solution that needs to be found to like bridge that gap, where I think if you don't want to put up a financial stake, like a skin in the game, and remain anonymous, then there needs to be some sort of potential social stake, which comes in the form of showing us, coming on a call with us, giving us your GitHub, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, but just to clarify, like the work that you are doing, like for swarms, is done in a way that we have a lot of flexibility at when you will receive a payment. So if you don't deliver, you don't get paid. It's as simple as that, basically. And if like the specific proposal is milestones, the same applies, I guess. So
the only issue with that is the waste of time, the loss of time. So
I
like
agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, so that's why I suggest like some form of stake of, and it's easiest to be a financial stake because that way you can be as anonymous as you want, but you're still responsible. And but I do get the idea of like not wanting to be bureaucratic and hierarchical, like in some respects. I think it's just like a fine line to toe because we want to get shit done and we want to trust people, but like how do you
I believe that's something that the dev swarm itself can figure out in a way. Like if you have failed to complete tasks before, you are less likely to be assigned, right? It's more or less known in a sense, or will be known. So I think it kind of self-regulates. But I hear you. Yeah, I believe that maybe for bigger projects that should apply. Like if we are contracting like more or less uh, a team that doesn't have a lot of skin in the game, say doesn't have a lot of money because it's not here for since like 4 months ago. uh, like in those cases, and if it's a big project, the best approach is milestones. But if it can't work with milestones, like a basic requirement should be that the team should include like a more trusted member, or yeah, maybe have a stake. Like I don't know, but it makes sense in specific cases maybe. But this form allows for that flexibility, so I don't see a problem with that. Also, most of the work that goes through the dev swarm is supposed to come from the other swarms, not from the dev swarm itself. Like, let's say Buzz needs to build a new website, or Celeste needs, I don't know, needs a new contract for something to build on top. And we go to the dev swarm and figure out, okay, who are the developers available for this task? And then they take care of the payments and how it should be handled and all that stuff. That's not our responsibility.
Yeah, I really like what you just said there. Like, and that kind of, I think, is what I was trying to say with the idea of like the technical committee, where there's the communities coming up with these great ideas that they want to get implemented, but they're maybe not technical themselves and don't know how to do it. So that comes in the form of a proposal. We should do this thing and make it this way. The technical committee, or the dev swarm, it breaks it down into pieces like, okay, this is feasible in this way. Now we need these types of people to execute on that. And then that becomes a call back to the community to look for those people, which then, a person gets put in charge of, like, this is you own this now, and your reputation or whatever is at stake. If you don't hit these things, X happens. If you do hit these things, big reward. Carrot and stick approach.
Okay, yeah.
Uh,
So
Felix, do you want to say anything?
there was another thing that I wanted to talk about, which is like once you have like this group made, there is this next process, which is the part of how to assign work. Like one of the ideas was to, like, people talked about creating a Trello. I think that's okay, but it's kind of shit, like long term. I think it would be cool to have a web page where you could like have all these bounties from the different swarms, and they could be bounties like not necessarily for dev work, but the dev swarm can create that website,
Uh,
and like you have all these bounties posted there, and you can filter them by skill, and I think that's something that really misses on OneHive and would make a huge difference for everyone, really, for swarms included, management, like for people trying to help. So I'd like to hear on that specifically, like what you guys think is the best approach.
Yeah, I just posted in Cafe a project that my buddy put out, and I convinced him to deploy it on XDAI. He originally it's on mainnet and is now also on XDAI, but it is specifically for this purpose. It's called Dev Cash, and it's money for devs by devs, and literally anybody can go there and put up bounties for their project. Like, I need a front end for this website to be done. They can put up a certain amount of reward in Dev Cash or in Ethereum, or I guess in this case XDAI. And then then you manage it through the platform kind of thing. You can submit proposals and submit like answers to those proposals or solutions to those proposals right on the platform. So yeah, check that out and see if it's interesting. It's at least could be a springboard, or it could be the platform itself that we use.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that
Yeah.
kind of like Quest? What Quest doing? I'm not sure.
Not I mean, not really.
I see.
I mean, we could make it like multi-purpose, but I think Quests is more about like marketing and onboarding. It's not about project management. And
I mean, it can be used for escrow and stuff like that. Yeah, but I would imagine it would make more sense for like larger projects than like task-based bounties.
yeah, and it's a lot about almost like the way it looks. Like I think the dev form should look a bit more professional, whereas the quest should be super playful and interactive and full of bees flying around, like that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the backend might not be that different, that much different. About using this specific platform, I don't know. But yeah, something like that is the idea that I was thinking about.
Felix, do you have
Just invite him to the Discord, and like maybe we can talk about it.
Yeah, sure. Felix, do you have anything to say more? I want to hear your voice.
Hey, I'm on my phone right now, so I'm just listening. Yeah, I guess what the curly bracket just sent is basically kind of a way to kind of look alike of what we're trying to do with Quest. I'm not sure the purpose for the MVP of Quest will be directly for managing purpose. But maybe later on we can implement this, but not for the MVP at least. Yeah, I didn't really hear about the issue with using Trello, so I'm kind of behind on this talk.
I don't think we have talked about Trail yet. Luigi, do you want to comment?
I honestly couldn't listen to Felix very well.
Yeah. You can just go to Felix and increase his voice so you can hear him much clearer.
It's on 200%. Wait,
Yeah, I'm on my phone right now. That's why.
it's so quiet. Can someone like explain what you were saying? Just real quick.
He was asking about the trail. Have we talked about it? I think
The what? Sorry?
we had discussion in the dev. Okay, let me find about the trails. We had discussion about the trails. Do we have any trails?
The Trello board.
Yeah.
Don't mind.
We
don't
have
mind what I'm asking,
Trellos,
guys.
yes, but they are like swarm specific. Like there's a Trello for Celeste, there's a Trello for Gardens, there's a Trello for Tulip. I assume there's a Trello for Agave that I don't know the link of. So yeah, there are lots of Trellos. The issue is that that's not the issue at hand. Like it's just that there should be a super public place where everyone can go and see, oh, okay, this project is recruiting for this specific task, or this specific task has already been appointed. So like they are at this step. Like so all of that building process becomes more public and centralized in a single place. And for developers that's also cool because now you can just like find the, the tasks and the jobs that are available for all the swarms and don't have to go look out and read every chat and look for every Notion or Trello board where these positions are placed. And I think that's huge, like to bring developers in, because like I said before, developers are super lazy. They won't be doing that.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to end this, Luigi, here, and maybe we can have another meeting later on? So everyone can
I
can
would
have.
like to hear more opinions on the whole bounty web page, like the centralized stuff, because I am super pro that, but I know people that were kind of dismissive of that, so I just would like more opinions on that, if you can.
Okay, Chris, do you want to give us your opinion, please?
You're saying like about the bounties
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, I mean like mostly you were saying like this we have like different trail boards for all the stuff that's like spread out, but I don't know if we can find something that kind of like groups all these tasks, and I don't know, I mean like I don't think that there's like a necessity to create these bounties because these are in some ways like created already in each of the swarms. We just have to like find a way to kind of group them in some place. Maybe if there's like something that can grab like the GitHub issues, and then we can somehow like assign the bounties here, but I think that the primary source of these bounties is still should be like still GitHub, because even if they are not dev related, I mean like you can still like come there, grant an issue, and that doesn't have to be like something technical at all. And I mean like having these swarms to kind of like be clear about the tasks that have to be done. I think in Celeste, that's something that's being done really well, because all of this is being managed on the Send Hub. That's just grabbing information from GitHub, and then there's like a nice track of all the tasks. So if we can do something like similar, but like group all of these um, in a single place, and then kind of like I don't know, like yeah. I mean like I think that all of this task creation and management has to be done in each swarm, but then we can work out so we can group them and then assign some kind of bounties, or I don't know if there's a
But
platform like that.
I like the issue to some extent is that when we want to do anything, we need to create a swarm right now, and the dev swarm would allow you to like create a proposal for something. Like if you wanted to do like that giveaway platform or whatever that some guys in OnBuzz were discussing. Uh, if you wanted to create that and you thought that was a good idea and the proposal was popular, but you didn't have a development team, like
Yeah, I get you.
you could create a proposal contingent to the dev swarm finding the developers to execute it. And I think that's a super cool flow that we are not using yet. Like we are not using these people that have good ideas, but they don't have the capacity to like create this team and find the developers and manage the whole thing.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
just want to share a good idea and would like to see it done. And I think that's where we come in a
Oh
sense.
yeah, yeah. I was maybe like I missed some points through like the meeting, but yeah, that sounds really cool. Like let's keep like all the things that being like developed in every single swarm, but maybe they come with some idea that's I mean like their resources are not available to do that, and then they just come to our swarm, and then we try to take care of that. I don't have like a clear image of how that can be performed exactly, because as most of you guys were mentioning, I mean like we lack of uh, people that to complete all of the ideas we have right now. So yeah, we need to get a way to like I don't know like onboard new people, and then not just that they come in, but we bring them in. So yeah, that's important for this farm. Um, but yeah, don't know what if someone needs want to follow or whatever.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think what motivates a lot of people is money, right?
Yeah,
Honey is money. So like if we as the dev swarm decide on a few things that need to get done and have proposals to the community, like we need a JavaScript developer, we need a smart contract developer, and we're going to pay this amount of honey. It's like a job board, right? Like then that would theoretically bring in new devs. They see work, they see how they can contribute, and it's clear. And then the dev swarm is there to support them through it, and giving them the philosophical backing of what One Hive represents, and that becomes like the teaching moment to bring them into the community as whole. They took on a job, and now they're part of a community.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Anyone want to add more? I'll raise his voice. Anyone have any comment or opinion? He's free to do so. Sandpaper, do you want to say anything?
I mean, I've put some thoughts in Cafe, and I've put some thoughts in that doc. But I don't think I have anything new to say.
Okay, cool. If anyone wants to share his thoughts, he can just do it in the Google document that we shared. I think we can wrap this out, right, Luigi?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Thanks everyone. Take care.
See you guys. Nice chatting.
Nice chatting.